Hi everybody, Trina here from thereisacardforthat.ca, and I'd like to welcome you to my first Easter card of the Happy Hoppy season. I lost part of the first part of the video, and so basically what had happened was I used some Distress Oxide inks to shade in the bottom part of what's going to be my grass in the bottom part of my little scene. Just popping out the extra stuff. The die that I'm using here is from Memory Box, and it cuts straight across, which is pretty awesome. The stamp set I'm going to be using is from Gerda Steiner Designs, and I'm going to use this cute little bunny to go beside the sentiment, and I'm just going to stamp him with some Memento Tuxedo black ink on the back of that scrap because I'm going to color him in with some Copic markers. So just stamp that down. And the Copic markers that I'm going to be using today for the bunny is C3, C1, and C0. I've recently discovered how to color in whites with grays, which kind of sounds counterproductive, but it really works out. I use the darkest color in the areas where I want my deepest shadows to be, so where the sun wouldn't hit him directly, so sides to make him look rounded, bottoms because that's furthest away from the sun. And then I'm going to use my C1 to pull that out a little bit and add some more shading. It always looks a lot darker than it actually is because the paper is wet, but once it dries out, he will look white, I promise. Next, I'm going to use R000 for the insides of his ears, his little cheeks, and the bottoms of his foot on the little pads. And then I'm going to go over the entire bunny with the C0 marker to fade out that pink a little bit. It'll still be visible, but it just won't be as super bright. And I'll go over the entire thing. For his tongue, I'm using R20. And then I'm just going to fussy cut him out with the Cutter Bee scissors. I like to trim as much away from him as I possibly can, just so that it's not awkward. I'm going to leave a little bit of a border. Normally I would have used my Brother 2 scan and cut to cut him out if I was mass producing these cards for one of my kids' classes, or if I had a whole bunch of Easter cards to make. But for this one, just because I'm only making one card, I figured I would just cut him out with the scissors. I do like to trim the pieces off as I go along, so I cut forward on the line that I'm wanting to cut and then move back a bit, just so that you don't get that sharp edge from the corner when you cut around, or cut off, the extra paper. And just go around his last paw and his foot. And then the one corner is a little bit sharp here, so I'm going to cut that down and move all of my stuff out of the way and measure out where I want him to be. For my card base, I'm using a side fold card, and it's going to be in landscape, and it's a standard A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And the panels are all cut down to a 1/4 inch less than that. For my background, I'm going to be using a piece of Lawn Fawn's Perfectly Plaid for the two to go together. So it'll work as like the sky, and then you can see it through. I thought the white was a little bit too stark. So for that, I'm going to be cutting it down to 5 1/4 by 4 inches, just so I can maintain that border around the card. And then that's going to go over top, and then the little bunny will go on the side. I'm just using my tape runner again, something else from the dollar store. I figure the more I can save on adhesives, the more I can spend on new products. So line that up and set it down there, and then measure it out again just to make sure everything's straight. And it's here I realized that there's a lot more blue sky than I had originally wanted. I had not measured it out properly the first time around before I had done the die cutting, which was part of the footage that was lost. So I'm going to use the medium stitched puffy cloud border from Lawn Fawn and just some vellum to create some clouds that will go behind the green panel and the bunny and just break up that blue a little bit. So I'm just running that through my die cut machine, which is off screen. It's a little too big for the camera setup that I have currently. Just tear away the edges, and then this will also be cut down and measured to where I want the clouds to be. So I'm just making little pencil marks as to where I can do the cutting so that the adhesive will be hidden. And then that is also cut to 5 1/4 long, and then the height that I had measured out with the pencils. We're going to put that there. I'm going to figure out where I want the clouds. I did end up cutting it a little bit too short, so I'm going to raise it up and just make sure that the vellum is visible behind the letters. So here I'm just using a pencil mark so I can hide where the vellum, where the adhesive is going to go on the vellum, because vellum is absolutely notorious for showing the adhesive through. So anytime we can avoid that, that's excellent. And I'm just going to line it up with the pencil marks that I had drawn on there, and then I'm going to use the same tape runner to adhere the top green panel. And I don't have to erase those pencil lines because nobody's ever going to see them. I'm going to use a little bit of Nuvo glue to add the centerpiece back in through the E, and my tweezers just to get that in place exactly where I want it to go. Now here I was deciding how I was going to adhere the bunny down. Originally it was going to be flat, but I decided to use a little bit of foam tape just to give him some dimension. And this is just mounting tape that you can find at the dollar store. It's like $1.25 in Canada for a roll over at Dollarama, and it works just as well as the 3M foam tape for a lot less money. So remove those backing pieces. And then I'm going to adhere him down right on the side where we had measured out before. And that is our card for today. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Have a great day. Bye.